Are you serious? I mean, really, are you seriously serious? The man of peace. What's going on here? There's a summit taking place right now. Nobody even knew this was coming. President Donald Trump is right now meeting tonight, and already I've seen the president of Azerbaijan has already came to the White House. He's there right now. And then the president of Armenia is going to be coming in very soon. And there's going to be a peace summit. And what I'm hearing is there's going to be a signed deal. This is huge, huge, okay, to end the conflict, to end the war between these two former Soviet Union countries that were under the former Soviet Union are now and have been fighting with each other. Trump has brought them together for peace. Let me tell you about that and the upcoming summit with Trump and Putin. And what does this mean? What's going on? And then, of course, Gaza and Netanyahu. But first, let me put a real fast shout, if you guys don't care, for goldenrevive.com/Paul. That's goldenrevive.com/Paul. This is huge. You're getting older. I'm getting older. It's unavoidable, okay? And until science figures out how to age reverse, or until the rapture, there's something that we're all going to face. Joint pain. You're probably tried supplements and creams and promising miracles, but let's be real. Most just don't work. There's one, though. There's one that has stood the test of time. And that's Terminic. Terminic. Now, hold on. Because you've heard about Terminic. I know you have, but here's what you probably don't know, folks. Standard turmeric, you know, the stuff in your pantry right now, basic capsules. Yeah, it barely gets absorbed into your body, making it pretty much not very effective for serious joint pain. But recently, renowned pain specialist Dr. Josh Levitt started working with a specific type of turmeric. He took it and he extracted the extract called BCM-95 curcumin, which absorbs 200 times better than regular turmeric. I mean, are you serious? But he didn't stop there. He then took that extract, turmeric, and he added to it these clinically backed ingredients: boswellia, that fights inflammation; magnesium, that soothes tight muscles; and bromelain to ease joint stiffness. And in one easy take formula called Golden Revive Plus, this Golden Revive Plus isn't just another turmeric pill. No. It's a complete joint restoration system designed to rebuild the cartilage, reduce the pain, restore the smooth movement you used to enjoy. You'll be young again. I mean, I personally recommend this. I'm waiting to see how it affects me. Give it a couple weeks, but certainly the people are saying the difference is amazing. No more stiffness in the morning. No hesitation climbing stairs. Just easy, pain-free movement every day. Guys, I'm tired of being disappointed with all these joint supplements. It's time to click on the link below the video. Go right now to goldenrevive.com/Paul. That's goldenrevive.com/Paul. You'll be glad that you did. And I am glad that God is on my side. This is amazing. Trump is set right now, tonight, to sign a peace deal between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Now, this is huge. But wait, Trump is going to hold a meeting late next week, a peace truce deal with Putin to end the war with Ukraine. This might happen next week. And then there's the Gaza situation that obviously that Israel is dealing with Hamas and the hostages. That is much more complicated, but I don't know if it could be any more complicated than Putin and NATO and Zelensky and Ukraine and the oil and sanctions and 500,000 people killed or wounded. I mean, this is a huge deal. But first, let's talk about tonight. President Trump is going to announce an initial peace deal. And get this, not only could there be peace between Azerbaijan and Armenia, two former Soviet Union countries that were under Soviet rule, but they might both join the Abraham Accords. Let me just read. President Donald Trump, I mean, this is crazy. He's the man of peace. Does he get a Nobel Peace Prize? But he's the man of peace. And the Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Now, President Donald Trump plans right now, I just saw the president of Azerbaijan shaking hands with President Trump as President Trump was welcoming him into the White House. President Trump plans to announce a peace pact between two former Soviet republics, Azerbaijan and Armenia. And this meeting is happening right now at the White House. Azerbaijan's president and Armenia's prime minister will be at the White House for this historic peace summit and a peace signing ceremony tonight. Trump said this on his social media platform last night. Nobody really took it serious, but we just saw the president of Azerbaijan walking in the White House. The United States will also sign bilateral agreements with both countries to pursue economic opportunities together so we can fully unlock the potential of the South Caucasus region. Matter of fact, right now I'm looking at President Trump and both the president of Azerbaijan and Armenia on the screen right now, setting down. I might be able to pull this off somehow, guys. Give me a moment. I don't know. Can I get some audio on this, maybe? Hang on a second, everybody. I think we're just about there.
See that we have Chris Wright outside and Senator Steve Daines sitting right here. Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. And Steve, thank you very much. And we have some other wonderful dignitaries, including the dignitaries from your country. But they provided tremendous diplomatic assistance. And Marco, congratulations. It's a big thing. Keep going. He got many jobs. And then, of course, you would say Steve was quite influential. I call him Henry Kissinger, who doesn't leak. For more than 35 years, Armenia and Azerbaijan have fought a bitter conflict that resulted in tremendous suffering for both nations. They suffered gravely for so many years. Many tried to find a resolution, including the European Union. The Russians worked very hard on it. Never happened. Sleepy Joe Biden tried, but you know what happened there. He tried for probably 12 minutes and didn't work out. And many other countries tried, and they were unsuccessful. But with this accord, we've finally succeeded in making peace, and we just left the Oval Office where we signed voluminous documents and very important elements to the agreement. The country of Armenia and Azerbaijan are committing to stop all fighting forever, open up commerce, travel, and diplomatic relations, and respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. So importantly, And I just spent a lot of time with these two men. I think they're going to have a great relationship. You want to know the truth? They didn't see each other that much, but they probably will. I think they're going to have. I think you two are going to have a great relationship. I have no doubt. And if you don't, call me and I'll straighten it out. Okay. Very importantly, we have also resolved the key issue that foiled previous negotiations. This declaration establishes what they are calling a great honor for me. I didn't ask for this. The Trump route for international peace and prosperity, which is a special transit area that will allow Azerbaijan to get full access to its territory of Nakhchivan while fully respecting Armenia's sovereignty. So they're going to be able to really live and work together, and it's amazing. So this is a very important territory, I guess, very special territory to you and to you, and now they work together. Armenia is also creating an exclusive partnership with the United States to develop this corridor, which could extend for up to 99 years. And then they promise in 99 years they'll extend it, right? You'll promise. But we anticipate significant infrastructure development by American companies. They're very anxious to go in to these two countries, and they're going to spend a lot of money, which will economically benefit all three of our nations. This is incredibly positive news for the future of the entire region, and it's a very important region, as you know. Additionally, the U.S. is signing a bilateral agreement with both countries to expand cooperation in energy, trade, and technology, including AI. And in terms of energy, Chris is here representing our country, and there's nobody better than Chris Wright. And Chris, I understand it's very
well, President Trump is explaining this from the White House. This is a piece. I can't play the video very much. I'm only allowed a few moments, but what's happening here, of course, is President Trump
like we haven't drilled in many years. I guess I could say ever before.
And the president
started. We're also lifting restrictions on defense cooperation between
Azerbaijan
the United States of
and
America.
the president of
That's a big
Armenia.
Deal. Is that important to you? I think so. That was pretty good.
So it's a big deal because these two guys have been at war.
Is to bring peace and stability to the world. Today's signing follows our success with India and Pakistan. They were going at it. They were going at it big, and they were great. Two great leaders that came together just prior to what would have been a tremendous conflict, as you know, a nuclear conflict probably. Also, the Congo and Rwanda. Now, that was one which was going on for 31 years. You have them beat. 35 years you had them beat. But that was going on for 31 years, and we have it all done, and people are very happy. That was a rough one. That was nasty. 7 million people that they know of died. Also, just recently, Thailand and Cambodia, that was one that was just starting. That 2,000 people were dead on the border, but it was just starting. And I was talking to one of the two nations on trade, and I said, I'm not going to sign a trade deal if you guys are going to fight. And I got the other one. And again, great leadership, Thailand and Cambodia. And before it got started, beyond that first couple of days, we stopped the war. And they've had wars periodically, very much as you two have had long-term wars. And we got it stopped. And the two, again, I find in all cases, they're great leaders. If they
So it's still continuing. President Trump miraculously, and I can't really show the footage because it is another channel, but a little bit is okay just to let people know that it is a actual news situation developing. But President Trump has the president of Azerbaijan and the president of Armenia in the White House. They're signing a peace deal with each other to stop the war between each other. Both these nations are former Soviet Union nations, and Trump is able to get them to come together in peace. Also, the United States will sign bilateral agreements with each of them to work on trade. Armenia intends to announce that the United States development rights on a 43-kilometer transit corridor to be called the Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity. That's going to be the name of the road. It's going to be 43 kilometers long, and it's the Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity, which will help provide access to the West. Two sources familiar to the media understanding of this. This is happening tonight as well. And the United States officials have been working really since Trump got in office, and Marco Rubio has been working on this deal along with a little bit of help from Steve Witkoff. There has been a series of conflicts between these two neighbors over the past 30-some years, and most recently, an ugly fighting under President Joe Biden's presidency in 2023, when Azerbaijan launched an offensive in a disputed region that caused tens of thousands of ethnic Armenians to flee the area. But now this war is coming to an end today, and it's huge. They started talking in July over in Abu Dubai, and Marco Rubio was involved in that. So was Steve Witkoff. As a matter of fact, Witkoff even traveled to Azerbaijan's capital in March and met with the former CEO of the Abraham Accords Peace Institute, guy by the name of Lightstone. And so basically he made multiple trips to the region as part of the peace talks deal on behalf of the Trump administration. President Trump is going to have this signing, according to the reports, this peace deal with the neighbor of Azerbaijan and Armenia. Now, after they sign tonight that they're at peace with each other and they're each signing economic agreements with the United States, this is huge because then they're going to be getting in position. Both of them are going to sign the Abraham Accords, and that's going to bring the 8th and 9th countries into the Abraham Accords. Huge. This is huge. Now, Azerbaijan is also borders on Russia and has the potential now to send oil and gas into Ukraine without going through Russia. The peace pact will then open routes for goods to travel to the West without crossing Russia. And they'll be going down that 43-kilometer road called the Trump Peace and Prosperity Road. And so Trump, the peace pact will open up this route. Trump has privately expressed interest in a Nobel Peace Prize for his role in brokering these peace agreements, according to the press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, but have not heard anything from the Nobel Prize people. We've stopped a lot of wars lately. We stopped India and Pakistan from going to war. We stopped Cambodia and Thailand from going to war. We ended the Congo war back and forth with Rwanda that had lasted for 31 years. And now this peace agreement between Azerbaijan and Armenia is huge. And President Trump plans on meeting in a sit-down session next week with Vladimir Putin to try to bring an end to the war between Russia and Ukraine. And here's what this is just now breaking on that situation. U.S. and Russia plan a truce deal to cement Putin's gains in Ukraine. But it's not just that. It's going to stop the bloodshed. Apparently, the United States and Russia are coming to an understanding of how to end the war with Ukraine. But of course, Ukraine also needs to sign off on this to make peace. So we're going to see if that can happen. Now get this, Washington and Moscow are aiming to reach a deal to halt the war in Ukraine that would lock in Russia's occupation of territory seized during its military invasion. U.S. and Russian officials are working together on an agreement that the territories for the planned summit meeting between President Donald Trump and President Vladimir Putin to take place in probably late next week, as the discussions of the location and the understandings of the private deliberations that are taking place. There's some applause going right now as the president of Azerbaijan has just spoken and is offering his peace conciliatory statements toward the prime minister of Armenia. Now, back, and we'll show this signing here in just a second. As soon as they get to that point, they're still doing a lot of glad handing and a lot of backslapping, but hang on, we'll get to that. Now, the U.S. and Russian officials are working together for this. The U.S. is working on to get the Ukrainians and the NATO nations of the European Union to agree to this deal. Putin is demanding this. He wants Ukraine to concede that they have lost Crimea and they've lost Donbass to Russia, which Putin's forces have taken. They annexed Crimea in 2014, and they've taken the Donbass region and eastern Ukrainian area. They've taken 19% of the total property of Ukraine, which includes parts of Luhansk and Donetsk regions, which are still being held by Kiev. This would hand Russia a victory that its army could not have achieved militarily, but for peace, they will get awarded this land. Okay, so now part of this outcome will represent a major win for Putin for sure, as long that he wants, but he can't get all of Ukraine. He wants all of Ukraine and more from other nations, but he would be willing, it looks like, to accept 19% of Ukraine, which he says belongs to Russia anyways. He's very similar mentality as China is when it comes to Taiwan. Ukraine, Zelensky, though, is being presented with a take it or leave it deal to accept the loss of Ukrainian territory, while Europe fears this will leave Putin forces in a better position going forward. Russia will halt its offensive in the agreement in the Kherson and Zaporozhye regions of Ukraine along the current battle lines as part of the deal. And they caution that the terms and the plans of this accord are still in a very fluctuating and very fluid situation and could change. So that's why they're going to get together and meet next week. So it's unclear if Moscow is prepared to give up any land that's currently occupies, especially over at Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, which is the largest nuclear power plant in all of Europe. But the White House has not responded yet on this is part of the negotiation, and Trump is not wanting to discuss his war of words he had with Dmitry Peskov, the former president of Ukraine, of Russia, and is the current works in the foreign ministry area. But anyway, this agreement essentially is to freeze the war, to pave the way for a ceasefire and technical talks on definitive peace settlement. And the United States had earlier been pushing Russia to agree first to an unconditional ceasefire to create space for this negotiations on ending the war. But having returned to the White House on a pledge to rapidly resolve Europe's worst conflict since World War II, Trump has been expressed increasing frustration with both Zelensky and Putin. And so the two leaders are now coming to the table. So this is a big deal, but it's coming down. And I think we're getting ready for the signing over here at the White House. Both sides have spoken, and it looks like the peace agreement is being signed. On the left is the president of Azerbaijan, and on the right of your screen is the prime minister of Armenia. And so, praise God, peace. President Trump able to take two former Soviet Union nations who border on Russia, and there it is, and to bring peace. I think this is an awesome thing, and really, I tell you. And now next week, Trump will try to end the Russian-Ukraine war. The toughest one yet, of course, will be Israel and the war with Hamas and the surrounding Arab nations that are, of course, part of the Iranian regime and the hatred they have for the Jews. That is still the toughest one of all. But let's be honest. This Trump stopped a war from breaking out between India and Pakistan. He stopped a war from breaking out between Thailand and Cambodia. He has ended this war between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and is even going to get these guys to start selling oil to Ukraine. And that's part of this peace deal with Russia and Ukraine also. And which is going to give the West access to oil that they can buy from Azerbaijan without having to buy it from Russia. And so that's huge. Yet Russia's going to get to keep probably Crimea and eastern Ukraine, and that'll be their consolation prize. And the best part about all of it is the bloodshed will stop, and the murdering and the killing will stop. So I thought this was big news today. I wanted to bring it to you as it's happening right now. And God bless President Trump for doing remarkable work. I don't know if he'll get any love from the mainstream legacy media, but one of the Beatitudes, and I'm sure President Trump learned this as a little boy in Sunday school, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. God bless all of you. Give your life to Jesus Christ. Yeah. We're running out of time.